GMS Walk and Talk. Today's lesson is called the oil. The reason being is you're seeing examples of certain guys that claim that they have the truth, and they really don't have the truth. You know why? Because they don't have the oil. Right? The scriptures speak about the oil, which is the pure understanding of this truth. First, we're going to talk about the importance of the oil. Well, if you look at a spider, right? A spider, oil is very important to a spider because a spider spins its web, but it never gets caught in the web. You ever notice that? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is written, learn the way of the animals, correct? Which the spider is the Most High's creation, right? Well, there's a reason why the spider never gets caught in the web. And here's the reason. As it walks over the web, the spider, its legs secrete an oil that allows it to glide right over the web. So is oil important to a spider? Yes, it is. And that's where you get that word subtile from, which literally means, sub means under, tile means web. It literally means under the web. So the spider is subtile because it's that oil that it secretes in its legs allows it to glide over the web. So it's subtile. Another example is the owl. Is oil important to the owl? Yes, it is. The owl is able to hunt its prey in the dead of dark. Why? Because it has a special oil that secretes at the back of its eyes, which illuminates its eyes and allows the owl to see. That's how the owl is able to see in the dark, because of that oil. So now here's the real question. Is oil important to a brother that's dealing with the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushai? Yes, it is. Right? You know, Yahushua told a parable about the 10 virgins. He mentioned 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. The 5 that were foolish, they didn't have no oil. The 5 that were wise, they had the oil. And that's what you're seeing now with Zabak. You're seeing a virgin that's foolish. Now, the true understanding of the term virgin, the word virgin means young woman. Now, pursuant to Jeremiah 6:2, we are married unto the Most High, and we're like the Most High's woman. It is written, I have likened the daughter of Zion unto a comely and delicate woman. So that's what Yahushua meant by the 10 virgins, because we're the Most High's woman, and we're being married unto his son, Yahushua, which the word married means joined together. So in this thing of ours, you have 10 virgins. Now, of course, it's a lot more than 10, but that's the parable. You have 5 that were wise, and you have 5 that were foolish. The ones that were wise, they had the oil. What is the oil? The pure understanding of the scriptures, which in reality, the only way you can learn that is through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Has to work on your mind for you to understand that. David said this. David said, he prepareth my table in the presence of mine enemies. He anointeth my head with oil. My cup runneth over. So essentially, who gives you that oil, which is the pure understanding of the scriptures? Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Yep. You see, when your teachers teach you, you get the basics. But then there's a time when the spirit kicks in. And the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai is actually teaching you in your mind. That's what it means by in the book of Revelation, where Yahushua said, my Father and I will come and sup with him. That's in the book of Revelation. Do you know what that means? That means that the deep understanding of the scriptures, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, will open up your mind to receive it, to understand it. And that's all part of the oil. Now, if you look at a lamp, for the lamp to illuminate, it needs oil. All right, the lamp has the wick sucks up the oil, and the lamp illuminates. Now, in the book of Psalms, I believe it was David said, "Thy word is like a lamp unto me, and it lighteth my feet." So what does that lamp need
to run?
To run or to burn. It needs oil. Check it out. It needs oil to burn. So now it is written in the book of Luke, I believe. It says, "Let your lamps be burning."
Yeah. Your loins be girded.
Your loins be girded with truth, and your lamps burning. So in order for your lamps to burn, you got to have that oil. Now you see what's happening with Zabak. His lamp is going out. He doesn't have that oil. Even the rapper years ago, Busy B, and you can jump in. He released a song called "Suicide," and there's a part in the lyric where, and you might hear it in the background, where he says, "You're looking kind of rusty, boy. You need some oil." That's a buck. You're looking kind of rusty, boy. You need some oil. You know, it's a little humor, but it brings home the point. All right. So
even a machine needs oil.
Right. Me and Elder Ramla, we talked about that. When you have a car, if you don't maintain the oil in the car, what happens? You have something called viscosity, and basically the car breaks down. Right. The machine, which a car is a machine, it breaks down because there's no oil. Okay, so everything to run smoothly needs that lubrication, needs that oil. So that's what you're seeing now with these guys that can't get the Cornelius thing. All right, here's some examples. They can't understand about the Cornelius issue, which is a simple issue to understand. They can't get the Sabbath. When is the correct day to worship the Sabbath? What other examples are there that they?
Romans 11 chapter.
Yeah, Romans 11 chapter, which when the Cornelius thing was revealed, that came right on the heels of the Cornelius issue. Romans 11 chapter.
Yep.
Why? Because they don't have the oil.
Yeah, and the only way to really understand the whole Gentile issue of the scriptures and who the Gentiles are that were going to receive salvation, you got to understand who Cornelius is and what Romans 11, the 11th chapter is speaking about.
Exactly. You got to have the oil. And if you go in the book of Proverbs 21 and 20, it says there are oil in the house
of the
or the dwelling of the wise.
Yep. And then it says, but a foolish man spendeth it up.
But a foolish man spendeth it up. See? So it's very important to have the oil, and really what the oil is discernment. The ability to discern. All right? Another good word to describe the oil is acumen. Look up that word acumen. Matter of fact, that's where that word acute comes from. It comes from the word acumen, which the word acute means to make sharp or to be sharp. So now you go in the book of Isaiah, what is it? Isaiah the 41st chapter. You have made my mouth to be a sharp sword. I think the quote goes.
He has hid me in his quiver. Is that the one?
Yeah, you have hid me in his quiver.
I believe that's Isaiah 49.
Yeah, Isaiah 49. That's it. Isaiah 49. He have hid me in his quiver. He have made me a polished shaft. Meaning he have made us sharp. Now, a brother that's sharp is the one that has the acumen, the one that has the oil. You look at guys like Zabak and those clowns down in Florida that call themselves Shealtiel. They're not sharp at all. You can see they're a dull knife. You can see they're not cutting shit.
Yep.
All right? Like that song by James Brown, you're just like a dull knife. You just ain't cutting, talking loud,
Ain't
saying nothing. But you can't say that about GMS, because the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai have made us sharp.
That's right.
Right? Because we have that oil, beginning with Elder Tahor on down. We have that oil. And not of ourselves. It is the spirit and the gift of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, pursuant to Ephesians 2:8. So is the oil important?
Yep.
Yes, it is. Very important. If you want to understand the deep, dark sentences of the Bible, the deep, dark parables, the deep, dark proverbs, you got to have that oil. There is no other way. You know, a lot of you guys think that it's all about putting on a garment and going out on the street calling the white man the devil. It's a lot deeper than that, man. It's a whole lot deeper than that. Now, if you go in the book of Malachi, the 3rd chapter, it tells you that those that have the oil shall be able to discern from the wicked and the righteous.
Yep.
Shall be able to discern who's serving the Most High and who's not.
That's right.
You guys that are all enthralled with this guy Zabak, you ain't got the oil, man. I mean, you can't see right through that clown. You can't see that he's a freaking actor.
Yep.
And he has no business out on the street. If you don't know that Cornelius is an Israelite, you don't have no business out there on the street teaching nothing, man.
Yep. I don't care how long you've been out there.
I don't care how, if you have the tongue of an angel.
Yep.
All right? You have no business being out there on the street teaching the word of the Most High, because you don't know the basics, man. Really, Cornelius is something basic. Yeah, it's deep, but in reality, it's basic.
But it's funny because these are the same guys. If you ask them if the Most High is going to save all nations, they'll say no.
Right.
But yet all of a sudden, Cornelius is a Edomite.
So if that's the case, because it tells you clearly in the book of Acts, the 11th chapter, Peter told Cornelius words whereby him and his household shall be saved. So you that's teaching that Cornelius is an Edomite, you're saying that the so-called white man can be saved. Essentially, that's what you're saying. That's why I say you have no business out there on the street. And you don't have the oil with you. You lack the oil.
That's
why. Yeah, exactly. Hey, well, like Elder Ramnab said, we can't help you. Now, in the parable Yahushua taught, the foolish virgins, they went back to the wise and they said, give us some of your oil.
Yep.
And what was the reply of the wise virgins? They said, no, we ain't got time to give you
Oil.
our oil.
At least we won't have enough.
At least we won't have enough oil. We won't have enough for us and you.
Right.
In other words, to put that in layman's terms so you can understand it, we don't have time to teach you assholes that can't get this simple truth, all right?
Right.
We don't have time. Like Elder Yaquab used to always say, if a nigga can't get it, we moving on. You should have gotten the oil. You should have been got the oil.
Yep.
And you're going to see how important it is to have that oil when all hell breaks loose. When there's no light. Because remember, the oil is used to illuminate the lamp. Now, when there's no light in the lamp, there's what? Darkness.
Yep.
So now when you see...
How great is that darkness?
And how great is that darkness? Howard Shai said that. So now when you see all this total darkness that's coming out here, when there's no understanding, then you'll wish that you had the oil.
Yep.
But it'll be too late. So basically that's my talk on the term, the oil, how important it is. I gave you some examples with the spider and with the owl. And you know, you can learn a lot from the animals, right?
Yep.
You got people that say, oh, this guy's a bird brain. Birds are very smart.
That's right.
Me and this brother, Witness, we're waiting to go meet up with Elder Tahar, and we witnessed these birds, and they were all in the trees just doing their thing, you know, and there's a bunch of food on the ground. And we're wondering, why don't these birds go down and get the food? It's right there.